Welcome back, one and all, to the Overwatch World Cup group stage, here live from the Siam Paragon Mall in Thailand, in Bangkok. And we had an action-packed day already with plenty of matches, but we still have more to come. So let's take a quick look at the schedule to see what we've already saw and what is yet to come your way. We started the day with Australia going up against Denmark, and Denmark walked away with the victory. Afterwards, China faced off against Thailand, and everyone thought this is going to be a one-sided affair, but it was not. It went the distance all the way to map number 5, but China did end up winning this bout. Last match we just saw on stage was Australia facing off against Sweden, and Australia was looking strong, and we still have 2 more matches to come. We will end the day with Spain versus Sweden, but before that we're going to see Denmark facing off against China. And I personally am very excited for that one, so if you are too, make sure to head over on Twitter and let us know. Just use the hashtag OWWC2018 and you can just basically say anything. If you want to cheer on your favorite team or your favorite players, do so, and you might be featured in our fan polls brought to you by T-Mobile later in the broadcast. But now it is time. It is time for this next match, and honestly, this could very well be one, if not the most exciting series of this whole group stage, as both of these teams have been looking strong, and both of these teams are likely contenders to actually go all the way to BlizzCon. So now, let's welcome them to the stage. To my right side, we have Team Denmark, so please give it up for this Scandinavian squad, and of course, the juggernaut of the tournament, Team China. Those two will battle it out in just a bit, so for all the action, let's head over to our casters.
Thank you, Zoe. China versus Denmark. We knew this group stage would be close, but we didn't know quite who would be on top. But right now, we got a better idea, and it might just be these 2 teams.
Certainly, both of these teams coming into the tournament as relative dark horses, unknown. A lot of these players, of course, only 2 players in this entire server right now are with Overwatch League experience, 1 on each team. So you wouldn't have thought of these teams as dominant as a team like Sweden was expected to be, but both of them looking way stronger than Sweden has been so far in this tournament. So this is certainly going to be a major match to watch in terms of who qualifies to go to BlizzCon.
And not only that, Denmark has been resurgent today. They looked way better, and China looked a little bit more mortal. Thailand was able to take them to the brink, and a lot of that was Thailand playing well, but China perhaps not quite as unstoppable as they were a day before. So this could have the makings of a fantastic match. And now, let's take a look at the rosters. Going in, and I think first roster up is going to be China here. So China, you take a look at the talent that they've had, and you know, I have to say, you got to look at Guxue.
Yeah, Guxue has been doing so well with those Primal Rages, and we've seen all this DPX flexibility from all of Team China. But here we can see Denmark's roster here. And what I really want to highlight, actually, I want to highlight Danny especially, doing so well on that D.Va, especially in this Sombra heavy meta, a D.Va with a really high level of awareness and game knowledge, denying those hacks, constantly forcing the Sombra out. That's what Danny's been doing, and it really makes a difference.
And of course, going back to the Chinese side here, you got to take a look at Leave, where Leave, you know, he has a special place in your heart, especially for some of that Junkrat play we saw. Yeah,
definitely some of the best Junkrat we've seen so far in this tournament here. So I love to see that. But really what shines to me from Team China is that team coordination. They're really all coming together, and a roster that you would think of as less experienced, bringing all those different teams together. You wouldn't have expected to see that, but they're really proving that the potential of Chinese Overwatch is there.
No doubt about it. And of course, one player not seeing there on the roster, of course, Crystal, their sub, has been super good as well, but probably won't see him until we get to the latter half of the match. Instead, you're starting here on Li Zhang, where really could expect to see Shy coming in on the Sombra.
Li Zhang Tower, or maybe a potential home team advantage, at least in the lore sense for Team China. But both teams have looked really strong on comp, so I think this is going to be a really telling start to the series. Whichever team takes momentum here, it's going to make a really big difference as we go on to those later map types. You really want to get that first win, especially with the possibility of a map 5. Having taken that first control will give you the confidence if it does go to that final control tiebreak.
You know, I really do want to believe that there's a world where Leave comes out here on the Hammond. Very well could happen. Look, I'm down. But we'll see what happens in just a moment. Meanwhile, you take a look at Denmark. Denmark, they've gone into what is their expected composition.
Yeah, classic composition from Team Denmark. The Sombra very effective on this map. There's a lot of very accessible mega health packs. Hacking those, increasing their availability is really impactful. But Leave coming out on the Hammond, going to commit to this triple tank dive setup. So it's up to China to take the aggression into Team Denmark.
Sky going right in, gets Ding immediately. It's good stuff coming in from Shy, but Shaxx and Nerf back the other way. They deal with the Diva. 5-on-5 action here early on, but no one is looking at Shy in the back, and he's dealing with the backline of Denmark. China working with a bit of an edge right now, and so far, this isn't bad for China. He's still on the Hammond, takes down 2.
A very scrappy fight here, but this is going to favor the team with the Hammond. Of course, that massive health fall is so difficult to deal with when you're in these low number scenarios, and knocking the Ana off the map right as she comes back from spawn. That's a huge pick for Team China. They're going to get the flip in quite a bit of progress before Denmark has a chance to regroup.
Shy right now going to build up the pulse bomb after the first fight. Pretty standard stuff coming in from a Tracer, but means he can set the pace going in.
Fisher also a little bit slow on that EMP charge, only at 60%, and Veltal is almost at that Lucio sound barrier here. So that could be really important in this next fight. Leave with the mines, especially with Denmark taking this chokier approach to point through White Room, could be punished by the minefield.
Shy moving in, pulse bomb, looks for the stick, not quite going to connect, but on the other end, Denmark now taking advantage off the pulse bomb, going back the other way. EMP up for Fisher, might not even have to use it with the 3 pickups here. Denmark just hiding in the corner, able to bring it back the other way. How does that work out for Denmark? No, China's still going in. The remainder, they sound for 3 people. They want to delay.
This can be so effective, especially on this stage of Lijiang Tower. The route back to point from spawn through that window is so quick. So you're able to get these massive stalls, even in fights that just seem completely unwinnable. Taking down the bubble is Shaq, but still, it's so hard to clean up these tanks on point. The Lucio also coming in for a little bit of delay of his own. Potentially, though, things slowing down for Team China. The Winston is back, though, and Velto, nice escape there. Going to be able to reset his health pool, come back into point. Now we see he dropping the minefield and spinning around in circles on the point. So hard to take down without Fisher's hack.
And it's just delay coming in here for China over and over again. They know that this is a winnable fight, but they want to get as much progress as possible here in the moment. And Denmark is struggling to clear them out. We got reinforcements coming back into China. And yeah, okay, Denmark, you're farming ultimates. You're getting pickoffs, but what you don't have is the point. And you get the sound barrier coming out from Denmark because they feel under pressure as Shy comes back in.
Yeah, a lot of players dropping low on the side of Team China, but you can see how effective the strategy has been for them. Even without any real chance of taking this fight, they're still going to get 99% capture, and that's such a huge advantage going into the later parts of this round.
Nerf on the point. Denmark finally going to get the cap, but China's delay. They started that delay, Jake, back when they were at about 40%. They brought to 92. How great is that?
Really important here for Team China, and all the while they've been building up their ultimates, while on the other side, Denmark's had to use those just to clear them off the point. So China, with a major tempo lead, could be looking to take this first round in sweeping style.
Fisher holding on to the EMP, gonna need to be a big one because Denmark needs multiple fights in a row. Has to get out early. That means EMP is good for the rest of the team. Denmark vulnerable as China dives in, but the under fire can't get away. Runs right in the Fisher, but Shy strikes again. The pulse bomb taking down Lucio. The other score down from Tushui, and that is going to set China up for void here. They should be able to retake the point.
Yeah, both supports falling instantly for Team Denmark. They've got no heals until that Lucio and Ana can make it back to the point, and Team China is capitalizing, absolutely rolling through these tanks. The nano boost on the Diva, so devastating against these huge hitboxes of Winston and the opposing Diva.
It's one giant fight that just doesn't end, but Tushui in control. Late Young holding on to the self-destructive take. He can just throw this right over the bridge if they get control.
Certainly, but I think China is going to be all on the point here. And with that minefield, Denmark just can't do that same kind of stall. Now China going deep into the spawn. They want to capitalizing on their advantage and take the fight off a point. Denmark's going to be forced to separate just to keep that overtime going. And China is capitalizing with the number advantage in Denmark's spawn.
Denmark might get this. They were so close to getting the recap. They got to keep back. Shax got rid of Sky. Denmark punishing China for perhaps being a little over-aggressive. Now China still with the man advantage. Has to rotate back. Denmark has an ability to maybe get back in. Pulse bomb though doesn't do much. Shy slows it on down just a little bit more. And China now getting control back despite that ninja attempt in the back.
The nano boost has to be put onto Kellex just to keep him alive for the stall, but it doesn't seem to be enough. He's not going to be able to finish charging his speed drop. Now all the focus is going to go on Nerf. He's all the one on point, and China completely taking control of this round. That's clinical Overwatch right there. Great use of overtime and stalling with the Hammond.
That was such scrappy play coming out from both teams there. Felt like a fight that just simply did not end. And I want to go back to what I thought was key as we were taking a look at that, where can you break down a little bit China's stall, where you don't see teams do that as often, but they made that work.
This is actually an old strategy since the times when Lucio was a perma pick, you were running him all day long. Now that he's getting back into the meta, he can really enable this kind of game plan. Your Lucio doesn't even ever have to touch the point except when he's the last alive. The rest of the time, he can just ferry tanks constantly to the point, stalling one by one, and China getting that 90%. At that point, all they have to do is take the point once. They can farm all their ultimates and go for this massive, overwhelming fight.
So if you're giving credit, you gotta give credit to the Lucio Expressway.
Yeah, certainly. Veltal playing that very intelligently and staying alive so late in the fight. Now we see both teams favoring the tankier compositions, but this time Denmark goes for the Mei and the Doomfist. China going for the more classic tanky 3-3 setup. I love this play to go to high ground. The Mei and the Doomfist are really going to struggle dealing with an execution coming out of the high ground. They want to be fighting in white room. They want to be fighting on the point in these little chokes, but if China just leaps over their heads and lands on the point, it's going to be much more difficult to find a Mei wall or a Doomfist initiation.
And the other thing too, when you're in this 3-3 go just comp, you want to win till the point's open. You don't want to fight more than they dive on in. They find Telex not prepared from the depth from above, and China able to get the first two pickoffs. They easily get first control.
What a great pocket strat out of Team China, looking so dominant on the tank comp as well. Gushui fighting strong in the point, able to send Nerf off to the side. He can't escape. Takes down the Ana as well. He's going for everybody, swinging for the fences.
Just hold W, swing the mouse, go right to the other team. That's a Gushui plan right now, and I gotta tell you, it's working on out. So close to another Earthshock.
Great initiations for them, and Danny very low on this Graviton charge, only at 70%, although Leave with very little charge of his own, not fighting the damage he needs in that fight. So it's going to be up to the combos from Team Denmark. At the same time, though, Late Young can always shut those down.
Gushui under a bit of pressure here, but the Zarya bubble keeps him alive. Blizzard, though, in the back of Denmark. Fisher got the freeze out there, and it works so well for Denmark. Kind of fitting that a Scandinavian team going to be breaking the cold.
Yeah, huge blizzard there from Fisher, perfectly placed. Everyone from Team China caught in that. They just can't retreat out of it, and now capitalizing for more is Team Denmark. Jax, though, potentially getting a little bit too big for his bridges. Leave is going to be tough to take down here if he has a stealth bubble. No, frozen by the Mei, and now the rally is going to be bringing China back into the fight, though.
So Denmark, they're back in it, but they are down quite a bit here. China, 47%. And China, they're not waiting. They're going, you know what? We really want to fight. We're going to go straight back in. Gushui already Earthshatter off, hammer down, up the field pass. Only got Fisher, but the wall buys time. Go for the shadow the other way. It is pandemonium right now. China, they got a good barrier off. They're still trying to control, but with the meteor strike, Denmark coming back.
Denmark with a man advantage on the point, and that's the main healer for Team China down. It's time for Shax to clean up. Denmark committing the Graviton, going to leave through absolutely everyone here from Team China on the point, and the capture is just building. Fisher with another blizzard, ready to shut them down in the choke. This is where the Mei can really shine. This very, very tight choke. There's no way to get to point without crossing one of two extremely small doorways here, and that's where Mei is most effective. They scout the movement to high ground, going to meet them here.
And you see them right now, they're totally fine to just delay time. Fisher doing one thing, they get the split. Here comes the cold. Was that needed? I think I might have. No, it wasn't needed. The blizzard out. Still going to be freezing out China. It was close, but not quite enough. And they, with the blizzard, they get the first two pickoffs. China going to be frozen out.
China, though, trying to run the point. I think this might be a fool's errand. There's only a few left alive for them. The Nano accidentally looks like he goes onto the Lucio. Looks like a little bit of a mistake here, but Denmark's certainly happy to capitalize on it.
Are you going to tell me Lucio's a mistake? Well, you're probably right, but it doesn't make me feel good. Denmark able to hold on here. China down to their final fight, and oh, what beautiful delay coming out. It's a wall of ice, and you're not getting through.
China at this point going to be forced into some very strange compositional choices just to be able to touch the point. Leave going for that vast wraparound all the way to the side of point, but it might be too little too late here. I mean, all of his teammates are going to struggle to get through this choke with the Farah Mercy out alone.
Now it's going to be up to China to go around the outskirts. Nice sleep! Farah grounded! Oh, wow, what a play coming in from Denmark. Ding, the anti-air answer, the wall coming up. China is split, and what a block! Nerve just holds up that shield. Great play coming out from Denmark at Control Center. Soon to be theirs. The Graviton comes in. That's going to be enough. They get the clean up they're looking for. Overtime ticks down. We're going to round 3.
Ults to spare for Team Denmark there. The Doomfist and Mei working out. That's a very smart understanding of the compositional matchup. Once Denmark takes the point for the first time, able to threaten that Team China spawn choke, it doesn't feel like China's able to get a single good engagement from that point on. The Mei wall just too devastating against the triple tank setup that China was bringing.
This is going to be a close one. Both teams have shown incredible competence here so far. And I gotta say, the mastery of Mei coming in from Denmark was great. What makes Mei work so well in Control Center?
One of the biggest strengths is, like I was saying, all those tiny choke points. When the wall can completely seal a team off, especially against that triple tank setup, you don't have a Reaper, a Junkrat cleave through those walls, and instead your tanks are just doing their best to get through it. It's very hard to save your teammate if they get isolated by the way of Maywall. Now though, this map going to favor dive setups. Both teams going over to those dive setups, but China, interesting though, bringing out this Fire Mercy comp. I don't think we've seen much of this looks from them.
No, but you know what? I would trust Lee to play a good Pharah here, and Denmark might not have the answer right away. It's going to put more pressure on Ding, I would say.
Yeah, definitely up to Ding, and potentially Fisher getting a hack on that Fire, flipping her wings and bringing her down, but Lee's having none of that, getting very aggressive over the top of Denmark.
Denmark right now, no, what a sleep coming out there. Leave, gonna have to take a nap. We were talking about the Ana dealing with it. Leave just barely able to get away, but not in time. The Bionade stopping the healing from coming in. Shax gang to the backhand side, and Denmark is picking China apart.
Ding definitely clutching that team fight there. If he had gone down and not landed that sleep on the Fire, that team fight would have almost certainly gone the other way. A few kills going towards Team China though. Potentially Denmark looking to, no, they're going to get the flip here for sure. Holding strong on the point, and the spawners will be back in time. So China getting a great initiation there, but the sleep just clutching it out for Denmark.
And how reliable is it for Ana to take down a Pharah like that? It seems like it's not super likely.
Well, it's great awareness by Ding. He doesn't go for that really difficult air shot. Instead, he waits for Leaf to try and push him in the choke. That's when he's most vulnerable to the sleep dart.
Leaf going in now on the air. For now, uncontested. You see Shy gets hacked. He has the post bomb. He really wants to use him. Nano, warps out. Post bomb, waiting, takes down Danny. And China now, they've gotten away the front line of Denmark. Now they rotate back to the point, and they're gonna cap it.
What a clean flip from Team China. Denmark thinks they've got the Tracer hacked. They can focus her down, but what awareness from Sky. Immediately dropping that nano boost on the Tracer, keeping him alive. And Denmark even missing the nano boost on their Diva. The reaction time not there. Get the nano boost on the mech as the baby Diva is already desuited, getting no value out of that nano boost, essentially throwing the ultimate away. So Team China in a commanding position here. The Valkyrie's gonna come out. Shy setting up for a stick.
Shy going for the stick on the back, doesn't connect. China trying to pressure Denmark and just keep them off the point for now. We see Shy still working on the outskirts. Denmark straight up the gut. They open up the barrier, the EMP in reserve. They get the DMAC early, so they're going to be more willing to commit more into this fight. Just to get China off. They would have 3/4 of the cap right now. Here comes the barrage, and oh, completely denied. No, got right in his face.
The Primal in his face, making that Pharah deal splash damage to herself. A very classic strategy against the Pharah, but Shy finds both support somehow in the backline. This is a real potential for China to slowly flip this fight back with their healers just coming back to the fight.
And Shy, he's been so good at working the outskirts. About to get another pulse bomb up. Gets on the Shax, now looking for more. 96% China. Now streaming back into the fight. They self-destruct by Denmark to make some space, but they've completely lost advantage. And Shy, still uncontested, looking for more.
Shy is absolutely raining kills in this fight. It doesn't seem like he can be stopped here. Gonna stick to Winston. Perfect timing. The nano just ends, takes the full brunt of the damage.
This is looking so good for China, able to go back in. This is 1-1 here in Lijiang. It could not be closer. And Denmark, they're out of tools.
What incredible gameplay from Team China. Fisher getting caught out there, uses EMP, but there's just no follow-up. They instantly take him down and punish. Now China sitting on both tank ults and both support ults. These are the most impactful ultimates on these top points.
Mark coming on in right now. China trying to hold form. You see Shy in the back, just dealing damage to the tanks, waiting for a distraction before going in.
This is such a psychological game from Shy. He had such a huge team fight last fight, absolutely crushing the side of Denmark. Now they're constantly scared of him. They're terrified to move into the point because they know that this is going to happen. He's right there in the back line, crushing those supports, even not finding the kills just yet, but there's no healing coming up to the side of Team Denmark. Shy finishes off the first kill once more though.
Shy going in even deeper. China with 3 pickups. 81% China. Now one fight away here, Jake. What does Denmark have to do?
Denmark is in an emergency point touch mode. We see Nerf won't let himself fall here, knows that he won't be up in time. Now using the Primal Rage just to touch point, trigger overtime so his team has even a semblance of a chance here in this round, but things are looking grim, and Shy with the one flip.
That is incredible. Gets one clip, goes to the other sport. He's going to walk into pulse bomb and does. What a pulse bomb from Shy. The double option. China now just a few eliminations away from getting that #1. They just need a tiny bit more, Jake. Last desperation EMP, but it's not going to be enough. China firm control of the point. Overtime ticking down.
Nerf getting a last touch though, but still so many bodies on the point for China. The kill is already here, looking to take the first map. The nano boost on the kill just to keep Denmark in it, but moved down. He can't touch the point, and that's Team China taking map 1.
What dominance coming in from China towards the end, but man, Jake, if that wasn't back and forth, And these two teams, they very well could be the teams going to BlizzCon where Sweden has been weaker than expected, Denmark has been stronger, and with Denmark able to take down Australia earlier in the day, this very well could be the top two teams in our group.
Yeah, very much so, especially coming off with how close and how intense that match just was here on Lijiang Tower. And we've talked so much about Leave and Crystal, these flex DPS on the side of Team China, but what an insane MVP performance from Shy on the Tracer, absolutely taking over that round. It didn't seem like Denmark had any answers for him.
And the scary thing about Shy is that we know that he is a player that they are willing to sub out, and that's because when you get to the second half of the match, they're going to be swapping the Crystal. To have this much depth on this Chinese team is actually insane, where most player like Shy, they'd be like, you know what, we're going to play him all the time. We're not going to bench him.
Yeah, utilizing their subs effectively. Our Team China, I don't think we've seen any team so far in the World Cup potentially make this good use of their substitutions, really have those classic identities defined for each DPS player, able to sub them in when they're most effective. So props to Team China, making the most out of their 7-man roster here at the LAN environment.
No doubt, but I gotta say, props also to Denmark. Denmark brought it to the very edge there, and they've been playing way better today than they did yesterday. And look, I mean, both these teams have been showing us really good team coordination across the board, and I'm excited to see where it goes. Now, where do you think map-wise we might be going to?
It's hard to predict at this point. Both of these teams have shown a lot of versatility. So at this point, maybe looking to take it to somewhere new, somewhere we haven't been before, put the other team off kilter. We saw how close that round is, though, so I don't think Denmark is going to be losing any confidence after a really close KOTH match like that.
So let's see where Denmark is going to bring us. What map is it going to be? Is there anything special that could be in store? And oh, that is definitely a bit of a surprise. We're going to the theme park here, Jake.
Everyone's favorite theme park. It is Blizzard World. Great hybrid map, one of the classic Widowmaker strongholds that we've seen so much Widowmaker play in the Overwatch League. Of course, Widowmaker falling a bit out of favor with the perma-stealth of Sombra, so it'll be interesting to see, are teams still going to favor those long sightline control, heavy sniper comps, or will they start to go towards more classic dive compositions?
Now I have to ask you, when a team decides to go in and bring it to a map like Blizzard World, what is really going through their heads? Because it's not usually a favorite map of teams. It's pretty rare to see even in full pick like this, so why would a team make this their own?
Well, one character that has had continued dominance throughout a lot of metas ever since she was introduced into the game on Blizzard World is Brigitte, and that's something that we've seen a ton of from Team Denmark. Fisher getting a lot of value out of the Brigitte, as well as Shax on these core hit scan characters. So this makes a lot of sense. Put Kelix on the Mercy, go for that classic Mercy Zen Brigitte combo, and that seems to be Denmark's wheelhouse so far in the tournament. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of that come out here on Blizzard World.
Wouldn't surprise me at all, but of course, China, I believe, they've been a really well-prepped team. I don't know if this is really going to throw them for a loop, but I do admire Denmark for going for the attempt. Either way, it's going to be close. We're getting the Blizzard World. Let's have some fun games.
Certainly, and if you're Denmark, you need to shut down Shy's Tracer. You can't allow him to have rounds like that. Last round, Night Market, they're just completely taking over the game on Lijiang Tower. You've got to stifle his momentum, get him questioning himself, because if he's going to keep playing like that, there's just no chance for Team Denmark. So they're going to need to find an answer here on Blizzard World, although this map is a little bit more difficult for Tracer to assault that backline. You're not in that tiny control environment. It takes a little bit longer to get those flanks to pop, so maybe going to be a little bit more difficult for Team China. We'll see if they can do it again.
China, of course, as we see them setting up, we do see them, it's hard to say what they're actually going to run here, but there's part of me that almost wants to believe that Leaf might be considering running the Doomfist.
Well, Doomfist has been really popular in this new meta, especially with that perma invis from Sombra, able to pre-scout for the Doomfist, tell him where his best targets are. But no, another Hammond game from Leaf. I actually like this a lot. This could work really well, although Fisher on the Sombra potentially could just shut this down.
See just how it turns out here. Of course, Denmark, they're running a little bit further back than the option time for the defense, but we're going to wait and see where China's going. And take a look at Nerf. He's sitting up for the ambush from the other side, but he's caught out. He's going to have to leap out. And, oh, that wasn't Grizzly. He's under assault.
Scouted, forced to retreat, but able to get back to his healer here. His Ana is going to be getting him right back to full. Ding there, building up that nano boost early. But Shax potentially getting caught out here. Nice play by Team China, identifying the flanker and punishing him.
Well, you're going to see Shui diving on deep. China trying to take advantage of the momentary weakness of Denmark. Nerfed in trouble, goes on down, and China dominating space. That one pick off, that's usually enough. Denmark, though, might have enough to come back in.
Maybe, but they're going to be doing so at a 5v6 disadvantage. Going for a final contest is, I think, Fisher here, but I don't expect this to last long. China with so much dominance on the point here. They're going to take that card out and start moving into the street space.
I think Fisher was just trying to buy a little bit of time, but do you think that was a good idea for where Denmark was? Because Fisher is going to be staggered, and okay, he was going for the swap.
This makes a lot of sense. Denmark going back to that composition that works so well for them. Leave going to make the switch over to the Widowmaker. This is a great answer here. McCree really struggles at those extreme long ranges from second point. This siege tank high ground that you see here on Shai's screen is so crucial. If Leave is able to take that high ground in an uncontested fashion, he's going to absolutely rain fire on the side of Team Denmark.
See Shai here just looking for the pulse bomb opportunity, sneaking around to the back. Shaxx down immediately, and now China, they can take this slow. You get the next two, you're going to move in, get the extra cleanup that's going on, and China is building some serious momentum here in Blizzard World.
Ding, so hard to take down with that Mercy pocket, but he knows he's done for eventually. Going to run into his death, China getting a ton of card progress here, and Leave on that siege tank high ground, I'm sure is going to rain down fire as China looks to close out the second point. Shaxx forced to swap over to the Widowmaker. There's essentially no other way to challenge these incredibly long sightlines on Blizzard World.
Well, China more than willing to just sit here and roll with the punches. Denmark, we'll see what they do in the next fight as Shaxx gets Leave. That's going to be a nice for Denmark as they look to change the other way, but they have to take advantage. The res is up, and the opportunity here might be a little bit gone.
Leave rezzed up, and Shai keeping the pressure on Shaxx, making him too uncomfortable to really get aggressive on these sidelines. This is going to be a potential opportunity for Leave, but Shaxx again wins the Widow duel.
Shaxx able to get that, and this time he's not going to be pulling back up. Denmark getting back into the fray here. Leave down. You see Shaxx, he doesn't worry about the other Widow, he doesn't worry about the Winston, but going to back out of the way of the self-destruct, and it's still got Ding. China now with real ability to get back in, but Shaxx got Sky. It's a 1-for-1, Ding's back up, and Denmark's looking good.
Shaxx looks very happy to be taking the Widow duel with how it's going so far. Fisher now on the card, getting so much value on the Brigitte. They just can't afford to focus it down. No Zenyatta on the side of Team China. They don't have the Discord orb to help focus this Brigitte.
They don't, and Fisher now 36%. Shaxx gonna have the Infrasight for the next fight, and that Infrasight can be so useful here.
On defense, though, you don't want to be popping that Infrasight first. On defense, you have a natural advantage over the offending Widowmaker, so generally, you want to save that Infrasight just to counter it when Leave eventually pops his. On defense, you don't need to create an advantage, just deny the advantage from the other team. But Shaxx has a different idea. Team China probably going to wait out this Infrasight and just look to recontest once it's over.
Does buy some time. Shaxx gonna go for the little upsy-daisy, looking for the hook shot, and now he sees his opponent. Leave, tempting, and oh! But Shui was able to make it a 1-for-1, so coordination still kind of there for China. The problem is that they can't deny the res. Both Widows back into the fray. The Infrasight is gone. China, though, super low. Shui might have the primal rage, and no, decides not to do it. China might be looking for the reset.
China gonna be forced to back out here. No res for Sky, and down to Zenyatta. It's just too hard to keep up in that damage trade battle. But Leave, what a sick play! Looking for more, takes down the Widow. Will he find another?
Fisher, 96%. See nerf to him, primal rage. Gets a little bit hit, but now getting back up, let himself get healed. Denmark is fine man time here. 2:20 left on the clock for China.
The only ultimate Denmark lacks here is that Infrasight. So many tools to work with, a lot of space control. Shaxx is going to be protected by a very, very strong team here. Everyone has their ultimate. They're ready to enable him however he needs.
Shai holding on to the Dragon Strike. We'll see how China wants to set the stage for the next fight. They're waiting an awful long time to go in here, and oh, Shaxx grabs Shai right away. Gets Leave! It's a cool double coming in from Shaxx, and he has been taking over this game.
Shaxx uncontested on the Widowmaker so far. I don't think Leave has been able to take him down more than one time. Even after that Infrasight, getting so much value for Shaxx. Denmark doing a better job protecting their core hit scan, and Shaxx is even forced to challenge this double sniper competition from Team China. So Fisher getting enough value on the Brigitte, ensuring that Denmark is constantly winning that tank battle, which just denies all the space from China's double sniper composition. This Infrasight has to be huge for Leave.
Yeah, you take a look at China, though. China is starting to get a bunch of resources here, but it feels like they're down to a one-fight margin.
Here we see Shaxx matching the walls. As I was discussing earlier, this is going to be a lack of any advantage for Leave. He's going to be struggling to peek, even though they both know where each other are. Shaxx finds the first kill of the Infrasight, and the tanks of Denmark instantly in Lee's face. He has no opportunity to shoot.
Meanwhile, Shaxx, just no one on him, going for the hook shot once more. He's been getting early pick after early pick. China yet to have an answer. They're going to be down to their final fight. Only a minute left remaining.
A major resource trade there coming out from both teams. A lot of ultimates coming in that fight, but on the defense, winning the fight, you're certainly going to be happy with that, especially with Fisher coming up on his rally. Shai not getting anything on that Hanzo, going to make a switch over to the Brigitte himself, but he's so far behind in that ultimate battle.
China moving on in this way. Gets really low, goes to the primal, doesn't panic. Once it's Zenyatta, heal him up. China being real smart now this way. He's going to be able to use the primal rage a little bit later in the fight because he trusted with Zenyatta. Being under pressure, gets healed up. Denmark, though, very characteristic, able to retreat. Shaxx under pressure, also gets healed up. really nice retreat and healing coming in, but Shaq strikes, finds Sky.
Jax just lighting it up on second point, but Leave again with that nasty flag, slipping in, taking down his counterpart of the Widowmaker. He has a major opportunity to get some more kills here.
China now making the most of it. Shui making critical room in the back with the Primal Rage, and China not going to be done here yet. We're in overtime, but they're not out of it. Leave a little bit of razzle dazzle, gets away with the win stick. Nerf doesn't go back the other way. Self-destruct. Now coming from Denmark, makes a bit of room. Take a look at China. They are still healthy and whole. Shy falls. See Denmark now going back the other way. One heals coming in. The Transcendent saves.
Leave needs to find some crucial picks here, but just too much presence on the card from Team Denmark. They can't find any of the healers. They can't stop all these resources pouring out. And now Denmark with that spawn advantage, it's going to be so hard to evict from this second point.
Oh, Denmark, they get the hold, and this was well coordinated by Denmark, but more than anything else, you got to give it up to Shax.
Yeah, certainly. Shax coming out on that McCree in the beginning of the second point fight, not getting the value he wants, but makes the swap to Widow and absolutely makes it work here. Nice discipline, not even taking the shot at the Mercy, waits for the sniper to poke their head out and punishes both of them. This is a masterclass in second point Widowmaker from Shax.
And that is sort of the power that we've seen of Shax all event long, where not only has he been able to be good on heroes like McCree, but certainly has Widow in his back pocket as well. And we talked about earlier in the day, Denmark, versatile team, and it's showing here on Blizzard World.
It's interesting, Denmark didn't seem to want to play the Widow in the first place, waiting for Team China to bring out the Widow, and then only responding with a counter Widow. So at the same time, not expecting that they wanted to play this composition, they certainly can bring it out when it's required. So maybe Denmark's going to be feeling even more confident about their Widow going forward, especially after a performance like that from Shax.
Well, certainly Denmark can feel pretty confident here, because if they're able to defeat China, if they are able to turn this series around, their road to BlizzCon would be all but assured.
Certainly Team China here gonna have to do something absolutely drastic to hold second point. Second point of Blizzard World is not so easy to defend, especially now with this box of victory there. That's all Denmark has to achieve to even this series up to 1-1. China, though, gonna go with this classic Orisa, Mercy, Junkrat, Widow defense. This is so hard to deal with if you're uncoordinated. So Team Denmark, it's gonna be on them. They have to play very, very clean here. Not get caught out by that Junkrat, that damage-boosted Widowmaker. These are both so dangerous to characters like Tracer, like Sombra, so squishy. They need to be able to slip in behind to get their game plan working.
One thing we know about China too is that, look, we saw it in previous series. Leave is a very, very good Junkrat, so Denmark is going to have to tread carefully, especially for Fisher, where Leave seemingly has a sixth sense for finding Stonewalls.
Certainly, Fisher's going to have to dodge the traps here. I wonder where it would be. But Denmark, their first fight is so important here. Oh, and there is the trap.
He's pretty good at
positioning from Lee.
He's pretty good at finding Prince as well as a turnaround, so that is going to be delaying Denmark even more here, and this is the power of a good Junkrat player, something you know all too well, Jay.
Denmark, though, very smart swaps. They're transitioning into this Hammond composition. The triple tank dive here, it's so much unblockable damage. Looking to just burst these squishy targets on the Orisa.
Oh, you see Shax moving on in, slamming on down. Good disruption, but Denmark not quite able to take advantage here yet. When they do use it to go to the right-hand side, they found the Sky, and now they're going to move all the way around. Going after a losing Chinese team here. They lose Nerf in the transition, but China is all sorts of low. Eve gets Oompa stomped by the Hammond, and this is looking good for Denmark, where they're going to be spawning right back on in. Shy looking to be a miracle maker here. Gets the Ana, and with the res coming up, China actually might not be out.
China looking to stabilize there. Great retreat by Veltal, staying alive on that Mercy, able to put out so much impact in the fight. And now the trouble with this triple tank dive setup is you lack a lot of damage. With Nerf falling early there in that fight, they're just not able to get those cleanup kills, not able to take down the Mercy, and now no progress at all to show for it. So Denmark, they're gonna need to get their ultimates, get these combos set up, and get another effective dive, but I'm guessing Sky is gonna be a little bit more prepared this time.
Shy gonna pop the Infocyte here, trying to get a lot of key intelligence. More importantly, you look at Denmark, they don't want to push this.
Denmark's going to for sure wait out this Infocyte. There's no reason to challenge a Widowmaker when if you could just wait 10 seconds, the Infocyte will end. So right now is when I would expect Denmark to start moving past this choke point.
Denmark now, Infocyte is gone, they know it. They're going to go straight on up. They just run China right in the face, but here's the problem. You take a look at Lee. He has a Riptire. He's going to be waiting. Shy backs up, shakes the Winston pressure early on. Lee still holding on to the Riptire. So Denmark, while they're rotating, here comes Lee, the Riptire, all set. It's going to go a longer way because the rotation of Denmark, and oh, doesn't do anything. Oh no,
it's the D-Mac, though.
The D-Mac. does get the defense. It was a little bit weird. But now as a result, China, they have the man advantage. The other tank is down, and China now with a huge frontline advantage, just going to clean up. Fisher at the late stage Dragon Blade, but he has no one left to support him here.
Very risky commitment from Fisher, but potentially paying off here. What an insane Dragon Blade, but he's so low.
Still, he's opened the door here. Respawns are going to come in from Denmark. He got one more. Then you might think, Shaq somehow got the eye, ran into the mine, and suddenly Denmark has been able to make this happen, and Fisher's risky blade paid off.
Wow, but it looks like Team China going to regroup here and try and recontest this point. They do have the opportunity, but the feed comes out from Denmark. Shaq's getting very aggressive.
Don't worry.
See that in the back, Shaq's way far behind. China's still wanting to delay, but Shy is down, so is Ding. Lee, always a threat when he's back in, but Denmark with such a huge advantage off the time. All they gotta do is go Lee. Still the threat on the other side. He's able to get Kellogg. See Shaq. Sudden disruption coming in. They might get the point here, and they do. Denmark powers through.
And now these are going to be some very late deaths for the side of Team China. Denmark going to be able to take whatever position they'd like to here on this second point, setting themselves up for a great fight. Lee looking like he wants to stay on that Junkrat, get value out of the Riptide before they swap. Junkrat Widow still very effective on this second point of Blizzard World.
Denmark, of course, setting the stage here. They don't have that far to go. They would love to even this up 1-1 right now. The Nano Boost is ready.
Major opportunity for a Nano Blade on the side of Team Denmark here. Sky with no ultimate to speak of. Veltal not ready with the Valkyrie, so potentially a crushing Dragon Blade here. It's up to the Tire to shut down this Genji.
Dragon Blade coming out from Lee, or sorry, Riptide coming out from Lee, going up and over. And Denmark, they just back out. They know it's coming and they take it down. That was over aggressive, I think, from China.
Quick two-shot from Ding, but that's just great discipline from Team Denmark, respecting the Tire, backing out, and now they have the opportunity to push with no worries.
Nano boost, Fisher goes on in, wants to make another good blade, dives in with Nerf, they take down the front Lee, chases down the Widowmaker, oh, take it down! Fisher didn't see the Zen on the other end. China still with 5. Gushui was able to find Ding, and Vettel has the Valkyrie if needed, but something tells me it won't be.
What a great primal, disrupting the entire backline. Denmark going to commit some ults here, but I don't know that this fight is winnable. I'm guessing this is going to signal a new hero swap for them.
We'll see just what they do. Kellogg will be on the Mercy, and we'll see if any other swaps come up here. Particularly, take a look at Jax. Is he gonna stay on the Hammond?
I'd really expect
go to
the
Widow. Yeah, he goes Widow.
I'd really expect the Widow getting such a better end of that duel in the same point in the reverse position last round. It's going to be up to Shy. He's going to need to turn things around and get that value on the defensive Widowmaker. In this case, though, he does have the Sombra to assist him. Shax is going to be pre-called. Every time he peeks an angle, Shy is certainly going to know about it, and Shax doesn't realize that he's been scouted in this way.
Leaves in the back right now, looking for the Widow. Shax in all sorts of trouble. He got Eve on one hand, a Sombra on the other, and yet Shax, with the help of his team, was able to get some heals, still stays alive. China doesn't get the pick off, but Late Young is able to get out. Just by the very slim margin.
A ton of Poco coming out to the tanks of Team China. They're forced off the high ground, giving Shax a little bit of room to work with, but as soon as they're healed up, they're right back in his face, denying those sightlines. At the same time, though, Late Young keep him on board, but Shy finds the first pick of the fight onto Nerf.
Shy channeling his inner Shax and going, you know what, this is a pretty good Widow spot. I'm going to continue to lay in this damage here. Team in front of him, clear targets. Not able to get either, but Gushui goes, you know what, it's fine. I'm just going to dive on into him.
Jax takes down Leave. Now it's Shy's turn to get aggressive on the siege tank, but this can be a risky position. You risk getting dove on here, so it's going to be up to Leave to scout those dives, let Shy know what's coming so that he can avoid it.
Shax, meanwhile, on the Widow. He was a threat the last round, and Denmark, they're down to the final 35 seconds, Jake, so this might be the final fight.
This really does look that way, and a lot of ults on the side of both teams here. The difference might be that EMP from Leave.
We'll see what Leave does here. It's going to be an ultimate throwdown. Shax, though, gets Gushui early. They have to deny the res. They see Mercy going for it. His Vental can be able to get Gushui up. He's got Primal Rage if the res does come in. Res up, Gushui in. Primal Rage now a threat, and he sees Shax. Shax in trouble. EMP out.
Instant transcendence. Instant transcendence from Ding, keeping everybody alive, getting almost no value out of that EMP. Denmark potentially looking to close out this game. The Pavita so hard to evict from the card in these final seconds.
This is going to be super close. Lead, swap to emergency Dooming Fist. We'll see if he can get back. Gushui desperately trying to delay right now. Super low. He's going to live. No, he falls, but Lead found Shax. Dooming Fist working out. Building some shields, but on the card, the self-destruct, making room. Leave now. The sacrifice himself. Oh, he gets another punch. China, though, they run out of people. Denmark takes them too.
China making that extremely close, though. On that defense from Denmark, you would have thought they had total control of this map, but China giving them absolutely no room for error. Denmark barely clinching Blizzard World. The series is tied 1-1 at the half. This is exactly how I expect things to be going. very, very tight series.
No doubt about it. And again, if the storyline here is indeed that these are the best two teams here in Bangkok, they are living up to the hype, because really, you take a look at both sides. It's good Overwatch. There's not much you can point to and be like, oh, that guy's underperforming. I love what we're seeing.
Both teams with great coordination. We see all this Sombra scouting, all that intel being passed, especially to the Widowmakers. That makes that duel so much more complex than it's been in previous metas. It's not all about guessing where the enemy Widowmaker is going to be. It's about understanding what information the enemy possesses. When are you scouted, when are you not, and constantly evicting that Sombra from your backline, giving you a chance to get a peek that the enemy Widow isn't already prepared for.
Not only that, but I mean, just watching the teams really work around the Sombras here, where Sombra's game, I mean, it's predictable, but teams have done so well to work around the recent buffs where they search for her, they find her, they try and shut her down, and the teams are doing well are teams that are very good at that right now.
And you got to give props to Fisher on that front, getting a ton of value on the Brigida. Those stuns so threatening to the Sombra. She's really going to have less EMPs when facing stuns like that. She's not going to be able to uncloak on the backline and fearlessly damage trade with something like a Winston to charge her EMP.
Well, guys, it's 1-1. Who knows how this one's going to shake out, but if you do want to know, come back after the break.
The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever. And by Omen by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup.
We're back here in Bangkok as two of the top teams here in China and Denmark are fighting it out. It's living up to the hype. It's 1-1 here, Jake, and who knows what's going to happen, but so far, it's been great to watch.
What a close series so far. It seems like anybody could take this, and I expect it to go the distance. I hope to see a map 5 here. Certainly both teams playing really great Overwatch so far.
No doubt about it. And look, I mean, Denmark, they've gotten better day to day. China has certainly cleaned things up here, where I think they're playing a lot better than they did earlier in the day versus Thailand. And I gotta say here, as we look to the next map, do you think we're gonna see any changes coming in from China?
Well, China has been favoring bringing Crystal in for that second half, and certainly he's been producing for them, so I don't expect any changes in that strategy. They're favoring him for that latter half, for that assault map and escort map. Maybe they feel like his hero pool is a little more effective, but the flexibility all around from Team China has really come to bear here. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're struggling with either DPS player. Both fit in really well with the team, and their synergy is great.
Okay, I expected Crystal to come in. I didn't realize he'd be coming in for Leave, because this is weird. We saw Leave have a very good Junkrat on Temple Anubis just a day ago, and instead he's going to be subbing in for Shy, who, don't get me wrong, Shy is tremendous, but this is a different sub play than what we saw before.
Well, from the coaching perspective, if you're Team China, you just tried to run that Junkrat Widow Orisa defense on Blizzard World first, and it seemed like Denmark was very ready to answer it with the triple tank dive, the Hammond, the Winston, the D.Va, and the Genji. It's so much unblockable damage that your D.Va just can't protect your squishies from. So maybe China feeling like they don't want to commit as hard to that composition. They want to have the players in who are most comfortable playing that faster dive composition.
Well, let's see what China wants to go to for a map here. And I gotta say, they've been good on Temple Anubis in the past. Is it gonna be Anubis popping up here? My guess would be yes, and it is. So this makes sense with what we've seen from them in the past.
Going back to the desert here, it certainly has looked strong. In that series against Sweden, they had blisteringly fast offenses, which is not something we normally see on this map. So if they can make that, replicate that magic again, I mean, certainly they're going to be looking to take this map. And of course, as it being their map choice, they're really going to feel the pressure. They want to win this, set themselves up, guaranteeing, giving themselves a chance to end the series at 4, or at least giving them a little bit of momentum going into that next map.
Now, one thing here is that how much can you do a little bit of game study here, where we saw Crystal, we saw his Genji roots yesterday, and of course, they were very good from a defensive end, because it feels like there's so much in the way of mind games here in Anubis, and just wondering, where's someone going to go? How much can you really prep for a team?
I mean, assault maps in general are extremely prep heavy, execution heavy. Because fights are so difficult for offense, I mean, every single fight, defense is going to have a natural advantage. It's really up to the attackers to make some sort of special play that breaks through that advantage, that sort of tricks the defenders into making a mistake. So it's going to be up to Team China to make those executions clean, but running a different roster than we've seen from them before might mess things up for Team Denmark. They're not going to be exactly sure what China will bring to bear.
Well, that's true. I mean, even for us, we're like, okay, they're going to bring Crystal. Surely he's going in for Shine. It's like, oh, no, actually he's going in for Leave, who was more of a Junkrat specialist. So I'm going to be interested to see if we see sort of a different China here for Assault.
And potentially it could just be the same strategy for Assault. Maybe they're bringing this composition in for that escort and potential 5th map here.
So it's on Anubis. The teams will be heading out here in just a moment, assembling, as it were, and we're going to see Crystal on the Junkrat here, so he's going to be filling into Leave's role, but the difference is we're going to be seeing Shy on the Widowmaker, so they really do value Shy's ability to play hit-scan heroes here, I'd say.
Another factor to think about is that China hasn't really faced any extremely strong Widowmakers so far in the tournament. It feels like everything has been pretty much easy pickings for them, but Shaxx finally putting up a fight, arguably winning the Widowmaker duel there on Blizzard World more consistently than Shy was, but Shy perhaps the best Widowmaker that Team China has to offer. They don't want to take him out. They don't want to open things up for Shaxx to take the game over.
Now, the interesting thing for Denmark is that they're not going to be... Oh, actually, when I say that, Fisher is getting off the Widow. I wonder if that means that Shaxx will be going the Widow in turn, because, I mean, you can run a GT, a Genji Tracer setup here. It's a little bit out of style on Anubis.
And the biggest variance we've seen on Anubis is in the supports. We see a lot of this Orisa, Widow, Junkrat, D.Va setup, but the supports, a lot of teams seem to have different ideas, but I like what Team China is bringing here. This Brigitte is so strong against Genji and Tracer, characters that need to get to close range and risk getting shield bashed in order to deal their damage. So I like the setup that Team China is bringing. I think this is well teched for what Denmark is wanting to play.
Denmark is going out the solo support with the Widowmaker in play here, so it's going to be Ding flexing the Widow. Well, again, Denmark's team with a lot of versatility, but this is something that you rarely see. It has been seen before, but it's not often.
This is a really tough challenge for Ding. Fighting against an Orisa shield is a really tough challenge for even a really strong Widowmaker, and of course Ding probably not as comfortable on this hero being a flex support player.
We'll see just how it works out. It also puts a lot of pressure on Kelix here, where, as you like to point out, he's the Achilles heel.
But at the same time, Team China's composition has such little aggressive potential. They're very defensive. They want to just take their positions and hold them. So it's going to be very difficult to punish Kelix. It's kind of up to Shy to get that pick.
Denmark going to be moving on in, going to solo support. They need to protect Kelix here, and they get Sky early on. It is a lot of pressure coming in from Denmark here, but they don't have the healing. Calyx falls, and now there's no one left to heal the rest of Denmark. All China needs to do is get on that one support.
All healers off the map though right now. Team China losing both of theirs as well. So Denmark potentially able to reset with the spawn advantage. Crystal not able to get the pills. That's crucial movement by Nerf, getting ahead of him, picking up the health back and taking down the Junkrat. Now Denmark with the spawn advantage. I expect them to roll right through this first point.
That is some old school FPS gameplay there. When someone gets to the pickup just a little bit before you, it's definitely something that you feel a little bit bad about as Shax is able to get over to the point. And to your point, respawn advantage is in, but Crystal has a tire, could make a difference.
Tire is going to be tough to deal with, especially aided by the Empress side. Oh, and Ding just tanks the tire. But great movement by Ding, actually, potentially limiting the damage that the Rip Tire could have caused.
Get down, Mr. President. Tire, please run me over. But I agree. I think it makes sense. Crystal, though, is back in. He picks up one more, but it's immediately res. But Crystal gets Fisher. No one is looking at Crystal right now. It's giving a lot of room. Shax, though, off the res, does pick off one. Denmark very much threatening here on the point, but China deciding to make some room. Self-destruct, gonna force Denmark out, buy a little bit more time. But take a look here. They're fighting the Brigitte, gets stunned. This isn't bad here for China as they're starting to fight this back. Riley comes up from Sky, and China now aggressing. Look at Fisher, Dragon Blade up, stun! Fisher, unable to get what he's looking for early on, but he's pocketed back up, gets one pick up anyway. That's nice healer coming in from his healer there, and Calyx.
Calyx great pocketing with the Valkyrie, keeping Fisher up through what looked like a potentially unblockable amount of damage, but Denmark holding strong here on first point. China, though, getting 2.5 minutes on the clock. You're not mad at that defense. It's time to set up for second point. Denmark using a lot of ultimates there. It's going to be difficult to snowball. But exactly what we've seen from Denmark in the past, making that instant swap to the triple tank setup. It's all up to Shy now, switching over to the Junkrat, going to have to get value quicker than other teams have been able to. And Crystal and the Pharaoh going extremely deep on this spam composition, looking to break Denmark down, whittle them with these explosives.
The problem is that Denmark already got past the first checkpoint. They were able to get through the gate and get into their staging area. They're just going to power on through here, Jake.
Against the Pharah, the Junkrat, and the Zenyatta, though, that's a ton of damage to be dealing with, especially with Veltal ready to potentially pop that Valkyrie and damage with everybody on the side of Team China. You can see Sky here just absolutely laying into that Reinhardt shield. Nobody to stop him, nobody to get in his face. He's going to discard whoever he wants here.
Fisher got healed up just in the nick of time. He was so low, but now so high the other way. Ding able to heal him up. Danny, though, gonna get D-Mech, but has a self-destruct. Tire from Shy gets one, but here's the problem is that Denmark still has so many on the point. They can suffer one loss. Ding, gonna come out the Colossus, trying to peel the supports off the point. Denmark very much threatening now.
China running that much damage, but just not able to break the shields in time. As you said, Denmark getting through that first checkpoint and then maybe not able to touch again. No, China makes it back to the point, but it's desperation, and Denmark with just too much control for China to deal with. That triple tank swap, so deadly by Team Denmark. They know how to play this composition, and they're executing it to perfection. It's not as easy as it looks.
Not easy at all, but Denmark, I gotta say, again, we like talking about versatility, and look, there's some teams that can run a pretty strong 3-3, but then they tend to fail at other options. Denmark is using it in really good situations, and it's just showing good judgment and solid shot calling.
Well, one of the struggles with that Orisa comp that China's running on the defense is that when you go to second point, the comp is way, way weaker. You don't want to be playing that composition on second point. It's way too static, too easy to catch up and run over. There's no great high ground position for you to defend. So as you lose first point, you're forced to swap. A good majority of your heroes lose a lot of ultimates. And what comp thrives in a non-ultimate scenario but 3-3? So great awareness from Team Denmark. This is a really smart strategy, and they're just making the most out of their hero selections.
And not only that, but you think about the confidence you have going into the next point, right? Where you didn't just get a good offense, you got a great offense. You got 4 minutes left in your time bank. You're feeling good.
China, though, has shown a ton of competency on their own offensive Temple of Anubis, so it's going to be up to Denmark to do a bit better on this defense, maybe get some more time off the clock on first point. Fisher on this Junkrat has been looking strong so far, and Shax on the Widow was devastating on Blizzard World, leading his team to a victory on that map. So if Shy wants to play the Widowmaker here, he's going to need to bring something much stronger to bear than he was able to do on Blizzard World, and of course, Shax with the Orisa, there's an even tougher test for Shy to pass.
Denmark setting up the trap here. Where do you rate that trap? Where Fisher has been changing him up?
Well, what's most important about Junkrat traps is just not being predictable. You need to find new locations, new ways to trick the enemy. The key value of a trap is it being unpredictable. If the enemy knows where it is, it's very easy to take down and clear. It's when players are surprised by it that it really gets those valuable instant picks.
We'll see if Fisher's little presence there to China ends up paying off. But China now setting up on their own. Sky going to be going straight to the top here in a moment. looking for those pickoffs, whereas Crystal will be taking that route to the back.
Very interesting comp for Team China here. I feel like that this Zenyatta and Widowmaker are really going to struggle to deal with the Orisa shield on point. But a very quick dive coming in from Team China, not able to land on the Orisa. This could be very dangerous for them.
Yeah, Gushui was not able to get to that upper level. Now he's going to back on out. A lot of time being lost from China and quite a bit of ultimate being fed.
Certainly Denmark building things up here. Shaxx halfway to his Ampersite. Now watching the choke like a hawk. Ooh, instant pop on Gushui. That everyone from Team China is going to be forced out instantly.
And I like where Shaxx is standing here. He's not going all the way far back. He's using the shield, and it just seems smart.
Yeah, as you don't want to be back on that high ground with the Orisa playing against another Widowmaker. Just don't give the enemy Widowmaker any chances to snipe you down. Fisher, though, nice defensive mind, is going to back him up, but Shy somehow finds Shaxx through a crack in the shield. A trap, though.
He threaded the needle, but now Denmark still fighting their way back. Fisher landing a lot of good grenades, and now it's led to a tire. Tire going to take the Genji flank route back over the top, slam dunk Sky, and Denmark can still feel pretty good about this defense here so far.
A nice positioning from Fisher on that tire in such a difficult position to get to. No one's able to punish him while he's in that vulnerable state, though. The res does come up on Sky, bringing him back into the fight, and now the Infrasight is over. It's China's turn to get aggressive. Denmark has been forced off their chokehold, and now China, slipping into the flank, has the opportunity to set up a surround.
They got in there for free and even bigger. What's going to stop Crystal's Dragon Blade here?
That's really the question. It's going to be all on potentially Sting or Fisher to knock that Dragon Blade away or sleep it.
Well, we see China moving on in. Valkyrie in progress. They're going to be aggressive. They're just buying Crystal a little bit of time. 97%. He's taking a while. The Valkyrie is about to be gone, but now, oh, he's taken down. Fisher bursts down Crystal. No Dragon Blade to go with the Valkyrie. What a play coming in from Fisher.
The Transcendence also coming out from Sky. I'm not sure what that's defending, but at the very least, Crystal's not alive, not able to Dragon Blade into the fight. Shaxx, quick pick up on the whistle, but Shy missing a free shot on Shaxx. He'll live to regret that.
He will.
Oh, and wins the duel eventually.
5 HP. That was close, and Kellix, he's not going to have the res for that there either, so that's a perma-death. China coming right back in, but I got news for you. Fisher's got a tire. This could buy some time for your Widow to get back to the fight. He's taking a long way around. Oh, okay.
Doesn't want the Steven Mac, looking for something more. Maybe a switching support, maybe a Widowmaker. Great discipline. Fisher gets a much more valuable pick.
Justice for Shaxx, at least for half a second before he's res back up, but still, it delays China. They're thrown on back, only a minute 30 left. The Danes are coming in strong and Shy's down.
Nerfed as a sniper now. He says, you can't fight me, I am Orisa. Great work there. Shaxx coming up on the Infrasight, ready to challenge this choke once again. And China, they need something new here. I mean, Crystal's Dragon Blade getting absolutely nothing. That was the big moment that they were waiting for. Now Denmark over the hump. They've got the self-destruct, and they're back in this chokehold position. China, back to square one. What will they do now?
China, they are going to dive on in. Gushui does not take the headshot. He's low. Is he going to use the Primal here? No, he's going to back on out. Doesn't want, oh, no. Decides to use Primal after all. Goes in and gets slapped. Another Winston to the fire, or at least the sleep darts as it were. Shy, up to the higher ground. Looking for some pickups here. Crystal just plunks, but Shaxx is down. So this is going to give Shy quite a bit of room here, at least temporarily. I do think the res might be coming in soon. It is. Shaxx is back on up. China, though, punishing on the ground. Looking for Fisher. Can they take him down? No, not yet. And he's about to get a tire. The tire, insta-pop back the other way. And China, they get run over. They're going to be down to their final fight.
China with absolutely no progress on the point. Denmark holding strong, and now with even more ultimates to work with. This is desperation mode for Team China. They're going to have to rush back in just to touch the point. The only thing they have is Shy's Infrasight, but Denmark sitting right in front of them and say, we don't care if you know where we are. But Shy somehow finds Shaxx before even popping the Infrasight.
It's going to be res. Nice res possession from Kellix. Get Shaxx back on up. China, they're all in a desperation dive. Denmark, a nano boost in reserve. They're going to pop it. Meanwhile, Danny holding on to the point. He's going to be looking for the self-destruct here in a second. Shaxx gets late off the Baby Diva pick, and Danny is just a rock here. China getting no progress. They use Transcend, they get nothing. Fisher blows up Sky. A self-destruct. It's a celebration. Denmark takes Temple of Anubis.
Beautiful defense there. Great adaptation from Team Denmark. Every time somebody falls, either the res is there from Kellix or a counter pick comes out from Denmark. Great stabilization. Nerf staying alive through that entire defense. And as well, I think Danny doing the same. So when your tanks are constantly up, constantly blocking the damage, it's so hard to snowball those kills. And it felt like Shaxx was really the only one they were able to take down. And the Widowmaker is really the easiest and least impactful kill that you can find on the dive. You need to find that Mercy, that Ana. But Kellix and Ding protecting each other to perfection. perfection.
Well, not only that, but they're protecting Fisher as well, where, we didn't talk too much on him because it's so back and forth. But, as I said, you're a bit of a Junkrat connoisseur here. How is Fisher playing there? Because from my, layman's perspective, it seemed pretty good.
Well, one of the powers of the Ana and the Mercy is that if you see that Junkrat getting targeted, you can send a Bionade over his way and then just pocket him with the Mercy, and it's almost impossible for the dive to get through that amount of healing. And as soon as Fisher is in those back corners of point, there's no way the Widowmaker is going to get a sightline on him. So you can't rely on that burst damage anymore. You have to just somehow get through the healing, and when there's an Ana and a Mercy on the side of Team Denmark, that's just too much to do.
And let's not forget, too, in terms of key plays for Fisher, don't forget the moment where Crystal was going in for the Blade. He was with the Valkyrie as well, which means that it's going to be hard to burst him down. Fisher still found a way to burst him down, which is something Junkrat can do, but such a key play as the Blade was coming out.
Certainly, and so much pressure on Crystal there through that entire round. It didn't feel like Denmark was really worried about that many Dragon Blades, only 1 or 2 coming out in the entire offense. So that's just showing the strength of the Orisa composition. With that shield in the front, blocking everybody, it's so difficult for characters like Genji to build that ultimate. They really rely on spamming their shurikens, slowly charging that up, but we've seen so many times it's very difficult to get blades on Temple of Anubis A.
So, speaking of maps, Temple Anubis, it's done, it's over. Now we have to consider where we're going to next. What do you think it's going to be? And wait, we don't have to discuss. It's going to be Rialto.
Rialto, very interesting from Team China here, potentially pushing them into towards a tankier setup, something that they haven't been favoring as much as the past. Maybe feeling like Denmark is getting the best of the dive composition. Denmark in control of the series. They could end it here with even a draw, but of course, Escort, very, very difficult to draw. So very likely Denmark looking to either close out the series here or force map 5.
And don't forget, too, this could be a quick one where even as close as this has been, Rialto, it's kind of famous for not always going past point A.
Certainly, it's all about that point A hold. Making it past point A, you're already above the average. Although for some reason at this group stage, I think we've seen a lot more teams make more progress into the map. So I certainly like to see that. But of course, both teams are going to be looking to make that full hold, set themselves up to take this map.
This has been good here so far. And you know what, Jake? I'd love to see the map 5, especially if these are the 2 teams that might be going to BlizzCon. We'll know, of course, after tomorrow. But for now, we're living in the now. It's going to be China coming out here on the defense. And ooh, this is something, especially if they're going to go for the super aggro setup. No.
Crystal taking a quick slam into the river there. That's going to send him straight back to spawn. Probably doesn't want to play the Hammond.
I was going to come up with a theory or 2 here, but, he might not be going for the Hammond, but it does look like he's going to be going for the Roadhog. And speaking of Hammonds, Danny is on a carnival ride right now.
DJ Kellex having a party in spawn, and everyone from Denmark is invited. This looks quite fun here.
You know what? Denmark has some cause to celebrate. Just having a little bit of fun here. Listen to the beats coming in from Kellex. And we'll see just what this Denmark offense has here in a moment. But China, they're running something particularly tanky here. What do you think about the Roadhog?
This is a triple tank setup we haven't seen for a few metas here, but I really like it on Rialto. With all of these death pits scattered throughout the map, there's a lot of potential for Crystal to hook an enemy tank and get that environmental insta-kill. So a ton of potential coming in from the Roadhog here. Denmark going to favor the double sniper composition with their dive tanks.
Death pits. What has happened to water quality in the next 50 years, man? That's grim.
Yeah, certainly looking rough. Overwatch fixtures from the future, maybe a bit dire here, but now it's all on Shy. He has to defend from both of these snipers through the pressure of a Winston and a Diva, but of course, he's got his own Reinhardt to block for him.
Fisher on the Hanzo. Again, mostly looking for shields here, but he'll take a shot. Oh! Gushue drops the shield, gets plunked. He does have the res there, but that means the res is on cooldown.
That's their mistake button. There's no more opportunities left. Oh, and Fisher, instant double kill. What a crushing flank. Looking to take down absolutely everybody. Fearlessly charging the Reinhardt. Hooked and pinned, though.
Well, he does pay for it, gets charged to his doom, but what an opening here from Denmark. Danny more than willing to avenge Fisher after that brutal opening coming in from Hanzo. China, they need to regroup and hurt fast.
The res, though, being used on Fisher, and with Shy finding the pick on Ding, he's not going to be there. We've seen a lot of teams stall out in these final moments of point A. China going to look to force Denmark to do just the same here.
And the scary part here for Fisher is that he does have the Dragon Strike up. He can drop it here in this fight. He built up so quickly. It's one of the best tools he could use to clear this up. Just has to be careful to not let it get heated. Dragon coming on out. It was heated! Oh man, I wasn't trying to curse him, but Late Young was on the job. The Dragon, it's gone. China was ready, and now Denmark lost their ace in the hole.
Denmark looking to slow play this, but Shy falling, and so does Crystal. Shax and Fisher getting the picks here, but Gushue turns things the other way, takes down Shax, and now looking to take the fight to Cart.
Denmark's still in control here. They're going to get the res back up on the Shax, even though Shax doesn't really have the best sight lines here. You take a look back at Nerf. He's going to be able to primal. He's just taking some damage. He's immediately going to use it here. Late Young out. It doesn't have to. China loses 4.
Late picks coming in for the side of Team China, maybe going to stabilize them a little bit on the beginning of second point, but Denmark already way beyond what is the expected pace here on Rialto. What a blistering offense coming off the back of that huge flank play by Fisher.
Denmark, they get through the hardest hurdle on Rialto. Who knows where this payload's going to stop now?
Shy, though, has at least been turning things around for the Widowmaker duel, so that will portend well for China's future on this map. Although Shax, with his infraside advantage, could be changing that.
Well, Fisher's going to go down. One flank too many, but Shax's there to pick up the slack. Finds Shy right away. Forces out the res. Crystal saying, you know what, Hanzo's a good idea. On Hanzo looking for some pickoffs, but guess what? Fisher is back in the fight. Denmark threatening. Throwing China back, they get the pick on the Crystal, and they cannot be stopped. Dragon gets 2!
Huge Dragon picks up these escaping players. Now China, in a little bit of desperation here, must get back to the cart, try and fight second point, but Denmark so much time on the clock and looking to close out here.
Denmark, oh, Shax again, continuing, gets another 2! He is a madman right now. Yeah, you're going to res him, but guess what? Shax is going to take him down again. That's been the nature of this game.
Shax absolutely taking this game over on the Widowmaker. China has no answers for a Widowmaker playing at this level, and to be honest, it's very hard to deal with. Kellys gets the res off, but falls for his troubles. Now it's Gushue with the primal in the backline, looking to change things for Team China.
You look at Zen, though, going back, going, you know, Fisher, I got your back. Lay some arrows into his
the
beast.
cap.
And oh, Denmark still gets the cap. China does not pay attention to the point.
Potentially that fight not going their way regardless, but now Denmark in a great position to potentially cap last. It's been so long since we've seen anybody cap last on Rialto, but Denmark with the best chances that I've seen in quite a long time, especially if Fisher and Shax are going to keep getting these insane picks.
They also have so much time left on the game right now. 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Shax, another pickup. No one is dealing with him. He is unstoppable right now. China does not have an answer.
China finding nothing here, and now Shax with the infrasight, guaranteeing him an even bigger advantage in the Widow duel. Takes down Sky, at least Crystal firing back, picks up a quick 2K.
China, the rest of the team making up for it, even while under assault by Shax. Denmark down quite a few players here, so the Widow's not going to have as much space. Crystal looking for the Hanzo do heal. It's Hanzo v Hanzo. Crystal under fire. Fisher looking for it. Crystal takes it. Now going for the D-Mac.
Nice wall climb, getting a ton of damage on that D.Va. Now gets the D-Mac. Slow playing things is Crystal, but he's getting so many frags here on the Hanzo. So hard to shut down a Hanzo who's constantly pocket by his mercy.
Crystal in the deal with the D.Va there, so a little bit of stability here for China, but 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. That's so long to defend last.
The only risk, though, for Team Denmark is that they're not running these classic combo ultimates. No Zarya, no Reinhardt, so it'll be a little bit different for them to have an overwhelming pick advantage. It's going to be up to Shax and Fisher to find more openers to get those tanks into the fight.
Gushue under pressure, gonna back up. Dragon giving them a little bit of space. China just biding their time here. You see Nerf, though, diving on in. His primal, he's almost out of HP. Chasing the Hanzo, 100 HP, needs to get back out, but the nice heals come in. Shax, though, finally challenged. Shy takes him down. Denmark down to 5, and Shy giving Denmark a taser.
Shy with a third!
3 kills from Shy. It's a Widow battle here on Rialto.
Shy finally lighting up the kill feed, and here on this last one, he can really make use of his Reinhardt. With these tight chokes, it's much easier to play those sidelines. You're not as worried about Winston pressure coming in. Fisher not getting the frags he's looking for on the Hanzo. They're going to switch over to the Brigitte, and it looks like Denmark making this classic swap back to the 3-3. In this case, though, they're too close to the Transcendence to give up the Zenyatta. Keep that for the time being.
Well, there's an old phrase, when in doubt, goats it out, but Denmark, I don't really feel like they're much in doubt. They're calm, cool, collected. Crystal, though, gonna drop the Dragon with the grab. Hello, it's supper time. The Dragon has eaten.
Absolutely disgusting combo. That's why that combo is so effective. There's almost no amount of healing in the game that can stand up to that. And Ding, though, on 99% Transcendence, so close to being able to answer that whole combo. But China, great awareness, predicts that Ding doesn't have the Transcendence available and gets the value out of the combo before it is.
China, they've bought so much time. Denmark was working with over 5 minutes here, Jake, and now the clock is down to 1:40.
Certainly, things looking good for Team China. Great positioning here on the high ground. Already threatening Team Denmark before they even get to the choke point.
Meanwhile, you got Gushue hiding a little bit back. Charges in, gets nanoed. He's looking for the Earth Shatter, but no. Knocked out position. Still can't be dissuaded, but gets nothing.
Blocked by
Denmark
Nerf.
deals with it. Nerfed was ready. Sky is down, and Denmark now looking to power on through, using the real power of this 3-3 composition to just exert dominance here on the battlefield. Moving on forward. It's another heavy charge by Gushue, but he's down.
Counter
Nerf
pin
was
by
there,
Nerf.
and now Denmark with a man advantage. Moving on in.
Nerf dropping low, though not enough heals to keep him alive. Falls to the E from Crystal, and now Shy finds the crucial pick on the Shax. They take down the Lucio as well. These snipers producing absolutely everything on the flank.
What a turnabout here for Denmark. It was all about the Widow and Hanzo for the first 2 points, but now we go to China. China goes, you know what? That's a really good idea. They have turned the tables here on Denmark.
Ding gonna make the swap over to the Moira, more of the classic 3-3 composition, able to play that fast, aggressive style that the rest of the team wants to play. Shy, though, with that Impresight, going to make things a little bit more difficult. Oh, and instantly picks up Shax, somehow finding that that Zarya, even without the damage boost.
This nice headshot coming on in. Although, Gushue, just a little bit too deep. Nerf, Earth Shatter, drops it, knocks down so many, but he slept. He can't be his own follow through. Oh man, the sleep dart saving. Denmark though, still, they like the opportunity. They're gonna go on in. Hammond chasing it on down. They want to deal with the sniper. It's been such a threat. Shy is down, and here comes Denmark once more.
What an absolute heartbreaker if you're Nerf. Now China coming up on that classic Graviton Dragon combo. This could take down everybody if it's big enough.
Townberry in for Denmark. They're feeling good, but here's a dragon into the grab. Gushue takes down Nerf, but that's going to be the only victim. Denmark was able to get around, but oh, emergency Doomfist. Kellick's out of the fight. China in the swamp. It's working out. They're looking to hold here on Rialto, and that hammer from Gushue seals the deal. They hold off Denmark for 5 minutes on point C.
Great turnaround there on that last point by Team China, keeping themselves in this game here on Rialto, but Denmark still setting a very impressive progress meter. They could very much make a first hold, make a second hold, or just hold Team China closer than they were able to do themselves.
Take a look at here. It's beautiful. You'll love to see it happen. It's a well-fed dragon and certainly well set up.
And man, you can see Ding on that 98% Transcendence. Hitting one more shot there would have given him the chance to keep his entire team alive. Of course, that Transcendence heals more than the entire combo of Grav Dragon can produce. So very, very close to turning the fight, just not having the ultimate there. And ultimately, Denmark not able to close things out there on third point.
Now, let's sort of reset the narrative here, where that was an amazing hold towards the end by China, where usually teams do not hold that long. However, teams usually don't even get that far on Rialto to begin with, so if you're Denmark, how are you feeling about this right now?
If you're Denmark, you're absolutely playing to win here. You're going to feel confident and happy with how far you've gotten. Of course, you would have loved to cap last, so maybe you've lost a bit of momentum in those long hours trying to push through that third point, but China at least showing some signs of life there at the end. It's going to be up to Shy and Crystal to keep that momentum rolling and keep their sniper dominance still working on the offense.
And you mentioned the snipers. Does this really depend on the sniper battle, where it did work out well for Denmark and then went against Denmark? And we sort of have the preview of the heroes here. You guys can't see the program just yet, but you see that China, now that you see it, is going to go double sniper again, whereas Shax, he's going to be solo sniper. What does that mean for Shax in terms of just pressure on him?
Well, Shax is going to have to challenge both snipers, as you said, but at least he has Nerfed on his side. The Orisa shield so effective at protecting a sniper, allowing that Widowmaker to play a very defensive position. Really, though, I think the pressure is going to be on Fisher. He's challenging a double sniper setup on Pharah, so it's going to be up to him to take the right angles to spam China without getting picked off himself. That's going to be a tough test here on Rialto. He's going to have to use the rooftops to their maximum potential. You can see Shy already watching for that Pharah. Shax immediately shuts him down.
Well, that is a tone setter for sure. Denmark saying, you know what? We're still pretty good at the sniper thing. Crystal gonna be looking for an opportunity on the flank. Is Hanzo Vifar not the easiest setup, but can be a threat? Shy is brought back into the fray. So China keeping the payload moving. Denmark going for a bit of a reposition.
Denmark needs to hold this corner. If they expose Fisher to that Widow sideline, things could turn quickly. Fisher, respecting the Widow, going to go back around the next corner here on Rialto first.
Fisher raining in the rockets. It's reckless abandon here. A sniper could get him at any moment. We'll see if this works out. Any moment he could be dropped, but he's making it work for now. Crystal, meanwhile, on the flank. Doesn't like what he sees here just yet, but still going to go to the well once more. Denmark now getting a little bit more aggressive, laying in the rockets, but no critical damage here just yet.
Danny doing a good job of stuffing these snipers in the flank, not giving them the opportunities that they're looking for. Shax hoping to shut down that Hanzo, doesn't find the pick just yet, but the headshot on the Gushue sets up Dane to get the kill.
Nice stuff coming in here. Shax, again, looking for the pickoffs, and it's a barrage over the top. Fisher picks his moment, and he stays alive. A rare thing for Afara after letting it rain.
A full duration barrage is a rare sight in high-level Overwatch. Of course, not allowing yourself to move is very risky at this level of play, but the amount of damage output is certainly worth it if you're going to be able to take down your opponents.
So Denmark, right now, in control. China, they've already lost a minute and a half. What do they need to do to break through? They do have the Dragon.
Well, certainly, we've been waiting for this grab dragon combo. Leitung only on 30%. Of course, Crystal knows he can get another dragon, just going to commit it there to open this choke up. But the picks come in. Those are crucial kills. Now, at this point, Denmark has to choose who they want to resurrect. Who do they value more? But Sky takes down another. There's not enough resurrections to go around here.
They bring up Ding, but China getting so much more. Crystal was able to get the distraction with the dragon, got the early pickup, and Shy piles on. Fisher, go back to your spawn once more. China might have just broken the blockade of point A. We'll see how it works out.
Oh my god, and another one coming in from Team China. These snipers just destroying the side of Team Denmark, finding absolutely everything, making A takes look absolutely easy here. China with about the same pace that Denmark was on. Now it's up to them to roll through streets in the same fashion.
That was the most painless point A take I think we've seen in this tournament. Shy and Crystal making it happen here. And Denmark, they're reliving their own movie right now.
And Ding has to hold on to this Transcendence. He can't afford to use that for anything other than the Grab Dragon combo. So China definitely going to be looking to force the Transcendence or pick off Ding prior to their combo coming out. You don't want to trade two ultimates for one, so it's very interesting to see how they deal with this ultimate matchup.
Crystal looking towards the pressure here in the Hanzo, getting real close to another dragon, biding his time. China not doing anything crazy here, just getting payload progress, and they're looking for that Grab Dragon. The Graviton is up, here comes a dragon. How well will this dragon be fed? And oh, the dragon, you're not going to get what they're looking for. Shax comes back the other way. Gushwei out of the fight. Denmark fighting this back the other way. The self-destruct making a bit of room, but Gushwei holds the shield, drops the hammer, and ends up getting Fisher. So this is very tight. Shax, so pulse bomb looking for it, does not connect, and China is going real well in this fight.
Both supports on China dropping very low, but just not able to connect the damage. Our Team Denmark, and now China with full stack on the card, full steam ahead. They're looking to roll through this second point. Great decision making with that dragon. Because Crystal knows that Ding has the Transcendence, he knows there's no point in trying to combo the Graviton. He lets Leitung force the Transcendence with the grab and tries to target somebody who that the Transcendence can't help.
Shy was able to get Kellex. Denmark getting staggered by Widows just like they did around before. The power of Widow could not be better here on this map. Right now is Shy. Punishes the baby diva, and more importantly, look at Leitung here. He's building so much grab charge as China simply rolls.
Crystal back on this Brigida, getting so much value here against the dive comp of Denmark. Denmark not ready for that level of heals and stuns. It's up to Shy to deal the damage, but now you have so much to stay in for the side of Team China. These are three of the strongest healers in Overwatch. So China hopefully looking to win this this third point and take things to a map 5.
China working with a little under 4 minutes. It's close to the amount of time that Denmark had. Denmark will see if they can take a few hints from China on holding, because if they don't, it will be map 5. Early EMP coming out here from Denmark. They're trying to commit, but China, they just back up. Gushwei getting healed, does not, does fall, it's close. Denmark, though, it's not really what they're looking for. Gushwei is res back up, and Denmark is overcommitted.
Shy, though, with a quick 2 headshots, somehow finds the Moira and the Reinhardt here. Those are crucial picks. Shy is absolutely coming alive on this Widowmaker.
Shy doing some big work. Fisher down. Not going to be building an EMP that way. The pressure from the Widow unrelenting as Shy continues to strike.
We can see why Team China elected to keep Shy in against Denmark, fearing that sniper of Shax. They know that they need Shy to challenge him, and now that's absolutely what he's doing. Gushwei with the shatter, with the aid of the Infrasight. Perfect setup here.
Rally here for China. The Graviton in reserve. Everything going their way. They drop the grab, but Denmark drops the beat. They work around the grab quite well. The grab gets very little. Now the self-destruct coming on in, making a little bit more room. Crystal ends up falling. Denmark back the other way. Gushwei, though, punishes Fisher. And China now saying, you know what? We're still in this fight. We're going to come right back at you. They get the res. They're not punished. Gushwei holding on to their shatter. Drops the hammer. Knocks that one, but pinned back the other way.
Pinned back the other way, but now so many healers all up for Team China. Crystal was rezzed up. He's still in the fight. Bashes just nerfed down, and now there's so much pressure on the card for Team China. A fully charged Zarya, that's so much to deal with. The Valkyrie damage boosting absolutely everybody. China closing out Rialto in absolutely convincing fashion. This is a crushing offense by Team China.
2 minutes left, but they're not gonna need it. China pushing on through. Denmark on the brink. They're fighting. They want to hold. They get a grab, but the follow through not there. Too many are down. China too strong. Melting player after player. China, they want them at 5. They're feeling it. They grab. They shatter. They move to the point. We're going to map 5.
Insane stuff from Team China. Shy, this whole series long, lying dormant. It felt like Shax always had the better of him on that Widowmaker duel, but in that last offense, absolutely lighting things up. I mean, traditionally in those tanky comps, you don't want to play a Widowmaker because it's so difficult to find the headshots through all the shields, the matrices, the bubbles, but Shy makes it happen, picks off the Moira time and time again, somehow finds a headshot on the Reinhardt, just absolutely taking the game over on a very unexpected hero choice. This is why China has this much roster versatility. This is the value they can get from it.
Absolutely insane gameplay from both sides. Really great Widow play, the double sniper on either end, excellent. But now, I just want to remind people the stakes here. If these are the two best teams, think about how BlizzCon seeding is going to go. The #1 team here will not have to face either the USA or especially South Korea in the first round. This matters for these teams if they want to go as deep as possible into BlizzCon. If they will be the final 2 teams, this final round going to be so important.
Getting that top seed is so crucial. You don't want to be playing those top dogs in the first round. You want to play those weaker second place teams, get yourself into the semifinals, and set yourself up for a better placement overall in BlizzCon. And I know for certain that Team China and Team Denmark both absolutely want to go far in this tournament, all the way to BlizzCon, certainly. And with the level of play that these two have both shown, I would be expecting these two to be qualified. I mean, initially, I thought it would be Sweden and China, but Denmark really taking things over. We thought they might be the dark horse, and they absolutely are. China, though, coming alive there in map 4, forcing a 5th map. And remember, they took the first control map. This could be their wheelhouse.
No doubt about it. Denmark, though, I would not count them out. They've been so versatile, so good at adapting, and no matter what strength you think China has here, Denmark has been matching them. That's why we're going to be going to a map number 5. And you know what, Jake? Let's figure out what map is it going to be. Where do you think we're going?
Oh, I can't even guess here. Going to a final control map. This will be, I believe, Denmark's choice, of course. China taking that last map, so at least Denmark has a little bit of advantage there, but control is sort of the least valuable map type to have your choice on. The maps are the most similar. There's not as much advantage to either team. I guess both teams are going to be most likely playing dive, which ultimately I think will favor China regardless of what control map we go to.
Well, you know what? Let's figure out what control map we're going to. We got the deets. What's it going to be? Map number 5. Where are you? It's going to be Oasis. So, this makes sense. And also, I mean, you want to talk about a map that lets you show how versatile you are. There's a lot of different gameplay changes depending on what stage you're at here on Oasis.
So many options here on Oasis. A lot of different comps going to come out, but Team China looks so strong on this map against Team Sweden. I expect them to be taking this series, especially with the amount of momentum that they had on Rialto. An absolutely blistering offense. I don't think I've ever seen a team cap that fast outside of ranked.
Yeah, it's like, by the way, guys, you know Rialto's supposed to be hard to cap on? Oh, 2 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the clock. Don't even need them, and ults to spare in the end. So great plays all around from Team China, but of course, Denmark's been pushing them to the brink all series long. Really, there hasn't been many pushes that looked as dominant as China's last push there. So Denmark need to relax here, reset the momentum, reset their confidence, and come back in strong for this map 5.
No doubt about it. And of course, don't forget, one thing that Denmark does have that's been very good for them is that I'm curious to see if they bring out the McCree again, especially on the university stage, where the Protect the Shacks composition, the new age Protect the President, if you will, has been very effective for them. And look, when you got a good McCree, sometimes you run with it.
Shax was really, really dominant in previous series on the McCree. Certainly Oasis, one of the best places to run the McCree, so I would be surprised if we didn't see it come out here. And also Oasis, a setup, a Koth map where you're going to see a lot of tanky setups as well as dive. Of course, this is the map that favors those tanky setups most of all. Although Denmark setting up, telegraphing a composition, a more dive composition, this classic Protect the Shax comp. But China setting up with these tanks. We saw how effective Shy was able to be on the Sombra with those hacks against Team Sweden. We'll see if he'll be able to replicate against Denmark.
Well, don't forget, too, though, is that, you know what, Denmark, they're built to deal with Sombras. Think about Huss for Team Australia, where Australia, look, they looked very good against Sweden. They looked not so good against Denmark. And a big part of that was their ability to deal with the Sombra. The presence of mind from Fisher and Shax to stun the Sombra as soon as she shows her face. So, Shy, He's going to have a challenge here unlike no other.
Yeah, definitely a tough test for Shy. He'll have to play a much more passive style of Sombra, focusing on hacking those Divas, those Winstons, when they make an aggressive engagement. You're not going to be able to threaten the backline against the Brigitte and a McCree. Those stuns are just too dangerous to risk it. China, though, coming out with a triple tank setup. The Ana and the Lucio, they want to set up in this corner of point in these low ground setup, trying to sneak out, and maybe they'll wait for the point to unlock, waiting in this corridor. Of course, Denmark does not want to go fight a Reinhardt in an enclosed space like that.
Wouldn't be a good idea, especially when you're running the Winston, so they're willing to wait it out. Oh, nice cleave from Nerfed. Seizes the situation. That's really good for Golden Pearl Rage, but oh, Ding gets caught out. The flank from China, the wraparound, leading the two pickoffs. Most importantly, Shax, who was the core of the composition.
And here's the problem for the composition of Team Denmark. With no Lucio on the side of Denmark and one for the side of Team China, China's always going to be able to chase down these characters like McCree, like Zenyatta with no movement abilities. Shax's making a quick swap over to the Pharah, giving himself a little more verticality to stay away, but Ding is still going to have a really tough time evading these speed boost initiations coming out from Team China.
We'll see just how Denmark wants to deal with it. They also have the Mei, so Fisher going to be looking for some walls here, where if China boosts on in, you'll wall them off and just pick up the people who are on one side. Rockets coming in here from Shax, looking for it, 40% already. Wall looking for the split, but here comes Shy. Drops the EMP, and Shax out, Fisher down. No more DPS for Denmark. China takes the fight.
China, very disciplined initiation there, committing only the EMP. Very impressive that Shy was able to build that up in just one fight. I don't think Denmark was ready for that, and now China has built up all of their more expensive ultimates. Crystal coming up on that Graviton, able to get high energy from this Pharah spawn. Very risky. When you run a Pharah, you essentially give up a Zarya 100 energy, and Crystal's absolutely capitalizing. Has the grab ready, and Ding doesn't even have the Transcendence yet to answer it.
And that wall just doesn't do anything. It's not a great wall position. So far, Fisher struggling to get good walls that you might see on other areas. Denmark looking for a way in, but to your point, you got Crystal with the grab. He's just going to relax in the back, wait for a clump of people. Sure, you're going to have the wall come up, but he gets the grab, and the self-destruct, the carry on top. Takes down two. It's well set up. China potentially one fight away here, Jake, from taking the first round.
There's no running from that Graviton, and especially with the self-destruct able to follow up, the Transcendence does nothing except delay Ding. Now Fisher potentially looking to get caught out here on the Mei, can't even get his Blizzard off. China looking so strong, up to 80% on this capture point.
For Denmark in the next fight, what do they need to recap, especially going into double support elves?
I really disagree with this Mei pick. It's so hard to get a valuable Blizzard against a team with the Lucio. That speed boost is always going to save the Reinhardt, and it's so hard to get a good wall in this map. The geometry just doesn't favor you, so it's really going to be on Jax to somehow slip past this Diva and potentially pick up the supports of Team China.
Well, he's certainly slipping towards the back end right now. Diva, of course, keeping an eye on all the while. China going to drop the sound barrier. No, time to get your wings clipped. EMP out. Doucheway with the shatter. Fisher down. Fisher, he dropped the Blizzard, he gave his life for it, his res back up. The zoning helps Shax, barrage off the wall, takes down Crystal, and Denmark still might be alive here on the University. Shax with another.
It's cost them almost all of their ultimates. 5 ultimates committed in that fight for Team Denmark, but at least they keep themselves alive in this round. China also committing a few ultimates to their fight, so they don't have a major advantage to speak of. Getting a little bit greedy, trying to end that at 100-0. Now it's up to Fisher to spam, get that new Blizzard. And of course, Mei, with now no fall-off damage, is going to be able to farm that up quite quickly as China returns to spawn.
Fisher just more than willing to bring the cold. Winter is coming, and it's Fisher that's delivering it. Gets the wall off, but I think if you're China, you're okay with that. No one got caught.
An over-eager wall finds nobody. Now China knows that they're free to rush straight to point, and that's exactly what they'll do. Shax raining in damage from above, but these tanks are so hard to deal with. It's so hard to blast them down from the sky. You can see Shax doesn't really know who to target here, and Crystal on such high energy grabs both tanks. That's crucial.
China with the follow through off the grab. They get even more. Hammer in from Goucheway. Might not have been needed, but it's China in control, and they're at 99%. Denmark can't have this happen. The Blizzard is gone. It's warming up. It's a China heat wave. It's overtime. Denmark now losing the first round. China's 1 round away.
China looking so clean, great understanding of how to play this university stage of Oasis, looking very, very clean there with the Zarya. And as we said with those Blizzards, finding nothing. He got 2 Blizzards that round, and I don't think a single person was frozen solid. Great awareness from Crystal, bubbling his Reinhardt out of that, and Veltal also with the speed boost, making sure nobody's caught in the cold.
Whew. Denmark, their versatility perhaps hitting them a little bit there where they might have played themselves, but I do understand why they'd go for the Mei there, but to your point is that when you can speed boost out, it's just difficult to get the value. Now though, Jake, we look here to the next stage. It's going to be the Gardens. Denmark on the brink here. China 1 round away.
If you're Denmark, it's all on Shaxx now. Denmark putting their faith in this McCree, giving him all of the resources. It worked very well in previous rounds. Will try to fall victim to it just the same. Crystal and Shy are really going to struggle against these double stuns.
See just how this works. China, no fear. Gushue getting a bit of cleave damage in there. Already 26% stun, but backs out, gets healed all the while. Shaxx meanwhile, flip side. McCree looking for easy picks. Denmark has muscled their way in. That means they might get first control here, depending on what China does. China, though, they're flanking. Oh, the soft flick. Damage boosted and down. Crystal destroyed.
Shaxx looking sharp on this McCree, finding those headshots. That's crucial. That's what you must do to make this McCree pick viable. You need to be constantly landing that damage. So China feeling the heat now, trying to get in Denmark's face is Gushue, but he gets punished by the rally from Fisher.
Ooh, Denmark coming back the other way. They don't have to worry about the main tank. Fisher getting the D-Mech, and Denmark in control.
And if you remember, University was Denmark's worst map in their last trip to Oasis. The other two looked much stronger for them, so maybe this could be the same story coming up against Team China, looking to take this back, get that 2-1 victory on map 5.
By the way, I hope you like old westerns, because we got McCree versus McCree here. Might not be the best setting, but hey, you got cowboys, you got revolvers. What more do you need? Crystal, McCree of his own, getting outpoked here by Shaxx. Shaxx, so well protected, landing shot after shot. China poked down, but Fisher is caught. China now up through the flip. They drop the barrier. They have the EMP. The Deadeye doesn't do much, but Nerf knocks Mental off the edge. They get the resurrection, and Denmark somehow surviving. Shaxx somehow lives.
The EMP comes out, but still so much healing available for the side of Team Denmark. China just can't convert this into any kills. Oh, and Ding finds a couple picks. They're taking down the mech and the pilot.
Denmark holding against the odds there. It was a rough start, and oh, Fisher a little bit far out. Crystal, a lone cowboy, a lone vigilante, but Shaxx was a sheriff and the law was laid down.
And here's the struggle for Crystal. On the side of Denmark, he's got the Mercy and the Zenyatta to enhance his damage. Of course, both of those simultaneously results in a one-shot on 200 HP characters if McCree can land a headshot. Now, China switching back to the 3-3, doesn't like their odds in the McCree duel, wants to get aggressively onto the point with the tankier setup. They have to shut down Shaxx. They need to use this Lucio to maximum effect. Catch that Zenyatta, catch that McCree. Don't let them free fire on your backline.
They speed boost in, but Denmark rotates around. Shaxx on the high ground. Deadeye strikes. The Lucio's down. Not going to be so speedy now. Shaxx looking for the pickoff. Ana under assault. Shaxx field himself. Going. Misses the bet. Flashbang. Doesn't need it. A few quick dings. He's down. We're in overtime, though. Denmark so close. They just got to deal with the Diva. They finish her off. The baby Diva down. Transcend. Stay alive from Zen. But overtime still in progress. China's down so many players. Could they possibly delay long enough here? It's unlikely, but they're trying. And they don't. We're going to round 3.
Wow, Denmark turning things around completely there. China with no answers to that super pocket in McCree. Shaxx is absolutely taking control of this game, and Denmark doing such a good job of protecting and supporting him.
The crowd is loving it here. One of the closest games we've seen. Could be deciding number 1 and number 2 here, Jake. The energy is insane.
Certainly a lot of high-level Overwatch here to get excited about. We'll see who's able to take this third map on Oasis and win the series. Certainly, getting your placement to BlizzCon is so crucial here. It sets you up for a potential long run or a quick ending in the first round. So Denmark, China, both of these teams with a ton to prove here. It's going to be, oh, and China looks like they want to absolutely mirror match. They're not scared of the McCree duel. They're saying, you know what? We trust Crystal. We're going to give him just as much resources as Shaxx. Who's going to come out on top? Let's find out.
The old Western battle continues in the ultimate round here in Bangkok. The Overwatch World Cup. Denmark beat China here on City Center. All comes down to this. Shaxx laying in the damage already. Gets a quick little ding. Now, where's he going to rotate to? His team, his bodyguards, his entourage, as it will. And you see Denmark rolling around the outside.
Oh, no.
China, though, gets first cap, and that's a mistake from Denmark.
Denmark without the Mercy for their McCree. Now China has the DPS advantage, but Shaq's nice flank getting a lot of damage here. Will anyone be able to follow up? No, Shy finds Fisher first. That's such a crucial pick. And then Rally comes out. What an insanely fast rally charge from Shy. He's playing so well in the Brigida.
Absolutely nuts, and a little bit of a hook shot towards the end. Make it for real. China in first control, in firm control. 22% Denmark, what you got?
Great awareness from Team China. Denmark, I don't think they were expecting the Mercy to come out from Team China, and when they're caught out with that Lucio, it's so hard to win the battle. Of course, McCree with a Mercy has such a major advantage over a McCree without. So Crystal, sitting on that high noon, needs to find something big this fight though.
Crystal with the Deadeye certainly has the positioning. Denmark just going to be trying to play the point, but again, the damage going out takes down Shax. The fastest gun gets a little bit faster. Deadeye up. Shax though gets revived. It was only a flesh wound. He's back into it. Gushue rotating around the back. The Deadeye now gone for Shax as well. Flashbang Eden just getting protected by his team. Crystal though found nerfed. It is back and forth. Both teams down a tank.
Fisher drops his rally.
And oh, here comes Gushue. Into traffic we go. Down goes McCree. And China now at 67%. Jake, one fight away. That's two supports down to one car.
The cars claim their victims, and now China racing to that 100% capture, looking so dominant. Crystal says, trust me team, I can take him out, just give me the same amount of resources, and absolutely that is what he's doing, taking down Shax time and time again. Shax need to pull something out of the bag here. Crystal is looking so dominant in this McCree duel.
You see the positioning here on the overhead map. Nerfed, going in, Primal Rage Disrupt. Crystal, unfazed, looking for Shax. Winning the battle on Poke, almost gets in, he's diving in, he's feeling it, going to the right, flashbang, can't finish!
Punish.
What a power move by Winston, the save, and Denmark against the will here, 99-0, a fight they must win. China though, 5 still up, Rally helping them, Ding falls, Kellix, you got a Valkyrie, but it's not enough! China cleaning up the Danes here on City Center. China, they're gonna do it. Overtime's over. China takes the series.
Wow, insane stuff from Crystal there on the McCree, asserting his dominance throughout that round, getting so much value, so much damage, and you have to hand it to Shy on that Brigida, absolutely crushing Fisher in the mirror matchup, finding that pick time and time again. Brigida is one of the best characters at taking down the opposing Brigida. Stun her, drop her shield, and burst her down. That's the way to get it done, and Shy finds it. The superior teamwork from China coming in clutch and winning them that series. A well-deserved victory.
And the right move in the end might have been keeping Shy in it, where Leave a phenomenal player, but Shy having the match of his life towards the end. And what versatility too, where we were looking at him as his Sombra play, his hit scan play, but the Brigida play coming in the end, and so good it was for China. But Denmark, you got nothing to feel bad about. You looked fantastic, and you're still on track for BlizzCon.
Certainly both of these teams showing a lot of promise here. Any other team of the tournament is going to be looking to these two as very scary opponents for matches going forward. What an insane series. 3-2 going to that final round on the last map. You can't ask for another series than that.
No, that is the ultimate Overwatch right there, where it goes to 5, and then the tiebreaker, you go to 3. Just nutty. I'm out of breath. I'm actually destroyed right now.
What an insane tiebreaker, too, with the first round, China looking so dominant and complete control with that Rein Zarya composition. Then Denmark goes back to their copper picks, pockets Shax, and it doesn't feel like China has any answer, but Crystal says, I am the answer. Just give me that damage boost. I will take him down, and take him down he does. Shax falling early, Fisher falling early, China just outplaying and winning the series.
Well, guys, give us a quick bit of a breather, and to give you more insight, we got Mika down on the floor.
What's up, everybody? We have Gushue here, our main tank for Team China. The crowd is going absolutely nuts. You guys did an amazing job, and you are on your way to BlizzCon. So is the pressure on, or are you feeling confident?
就是你们再赢下一场比赛的话，就可以确定到 BlizzCon 晋级到 BlizzCon 了。你现在是不是有什么心情？然后是不是非常自信？
现在很开心啊，很自信啊，想打完大家一起庆祝一下。
You feel so happy and confident now. You want to go to the BlizzCon and already go to it.
Well, since you're so happy and confident, if you win, are you going to celebrate, or are you going to go right into practicing for BlizzCon?
如果就是你们明天最终晋级的话，你们要庆祝一下吗？还是说你们就直接又回去练习这样？
肯定要庆祝一下，来泰国还没有好好玩呢。
We will celebrate first. Maybe travel from the or Thailand in Bangkok. It's a great place.
Well, that sounds perfect, celebrating great Thai food. I know I'm excited, but first we are going to throw it back over to ZP and Jake to break down the action that we just saw.
Gotta love the support coming from across the world. A lot of great Chinese fans here that were loving every bit they saw, and for good reason. That was one of the best matches we've seen in the Overwatch World Cup, even in the history of the program.
Certainly getting what they were hoping for here in Thailand. What an insane series in Bangkok. We've been so lucky, ZP. Just so many insane series, especially with Team China. What an impressive team. All these youngsters, unknown players. A lot of players said, well, you know, who knows? Will they really be that good? There's such a lack of experience there. But China absolutely proving themselves, showing that Chinese Overwatch is really going to be there, especially these players age into the Overwatch League.
You know what, Jake? All that is great, but you know what else is great? T-Mobile. And we've been listening to your tweets all day long with the T-Mobile Fan Pulse. Let's check it out. People, they're loving this match, and for good reason.
High-class play from both sides. I couldn't agree more. The support for Team Denmark there certainly deserved. Denmark looking so strong, just barely being edged out by Team China there. What an insane match. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I mean, this is something where if you're a fan of Overwatch, if you're just a fan of good video game play, period, this was a thriller.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw so many different strategies, both teams with their own unique styles trying to exert their will on the game. Ultimately, it's Team China who takes control, but there were so many moments in which Denmark did the same for themselves. So great play from both sides.
No doubt about it. And I mean, look, there's a lot to talk about. And let's talk about Fisher for a moment, where he was doing so well. The Mei on Li Jiang, great. Not quite as great towards the very end, but he was doing so well all series long. What more can you say?
Li Jiang Control Center, of course, one of the best Mei maps in the game, so you can hardly fault him for doing better there than he was on Oasis. University, it's much more difficult to pull off, and him not finding the success there is hardly surprising. But that comes from the great coordination from Team China. They're playing so tight together, it's so hard to split them up with the Mei ball. You can hardly fault Fisher for trying.
No doubt about it. I mean, look, China was playing great, and yeah, insanity is a good term, I think, for what we saw here. And look, man, you might get your wish, because China and Denmark definitely seem to be the two strongest teams to me right now.
Yeah, both looking to punch their tickets. I mean, so far, they've been the only teams to oppose one another really at this level. I mean, I don't think anybody has looked this close. I mean, Thailand, of course, also pushing China to the 5th map, but the series wasn't nearly as back and forth as this was.
No, not quite. I would argue that China definitely had weaknesses there, and it was a little bit discombobulated. This was good Overwatch from start to finish.
And I really love that we saw a new rosters combination coming from Team China. I was expecting them to do the same thing they've been doing all tournament long. Just sub in Crystal at the half, bringing in for those assault maps and those escort maps and potentially the map 5. But China understanding maybe we need Shy, favoring his Brigida and his Widowmaker, and those were certainly cashing in there on Rialto, on Oasis, crucial parts of the Chinese victory.
Yeah, I mean, you think about Rialto in the turnabout where Denmark comes in, great sniper play, and then it goes right back the other way, right? It was just so back and forth, so cool to watch. It's just like, oh, you guys want to run this? We can run this too. Anything you can do, we can do better.
Yeah, that's one of those matches where both teams are going to come out of that feeling like, well, I mean, at least we're clearly the strongest teams here. Certainly Denmark going to be disappointed they didn't find the victory, but any other opponent should be fearing Denmark. I mean, of course, both facing each other, that's potentially their toughest challenge behind them. Now it's time to just lock in those map wins and score those top 2 seeds for these teams.
No doubt about it. So now, let's take a look here. I believe we got something with Mika to give us a little bit more insight. Oh. We're going to highlights.
Never mind, we got some highlights to check
We
out.
got highlights. Take a look. So, Lee coming on in, and man, you know, just sometimes like we got Hammond here doing stuff, and why grab? Let's go.
Nice grab here, finds a lot, picks up a lot of highly mobile players there on the side of Team China. Nerf getting a ton of value here in the Rhine matchup. You're so advantaged with a Mei and a Doomfist on your team to control the enemy. A nice pin there.
Absolutely, and of course, you want tank play on both sides. There's a little bit of late young for you. Just making space on the Diva, good cleanup. Oh boy, Shax on Blizzard World. This was beauty.
And look at that timer. I mean, with 4 minutes at that point, China didn't take it a step further. Really all off the back of these insane snipes from Shax. Denmark putting so much faith in his Widowmaker, and it's really paying off here on Blizzard World. Fisher, this was such an insanely risky triangle lead. He's down to 28 HP, but he makes it work and somehow secures his team a player advantage to take point A.
Oh, boom!
Gushue should have turned around there, reveals his head and takes the headshot for his pleasure.
Meanwhile, you got Shax, where Shax definitely had some fun on Tracer here, and you get that little bit of a stick rewind. It's good stuff.
Nice stick there. Ooh, and we see Shy producing on this Widowmaker. This is why they left him in. Here, remember, he missed a free shot, but then finds that quick double headshot. That's all you need.
Got Fisher with the tire. Boom. By the way, Fisher, this was crazy Hanzo play. Talk about setting a tone.
Insane double headshot, damages by Kellex, great support there, and here we see Shax attacking the spawn.
Shy, of course, in the back, this is where he got a little bit of Widow action the other way, and this is where the tide was turning, where China was able to flex the snipers of their own, and Shy got 3.
What a nasty triple kill there from Shy. And here we see him picking down the Ryan and the Moira, crucial picks, and this was Gushue all at the end here. When you're funneling back into the Reinhardt hammer, that's a dream situation for Ryan.
Oh, absolutely. Also, big bangs, big grabs. Gotta win.
Nice combo there, totally nullifying the Transcendence from Ding. Doesn't protect anybody but himself and really just delays his own frag. Here we saw Denmark coming alive in the second round. Absolutely crushing round here on Gardens. No answers from Team China at this point in the game. Ooh, nice right click there.
When both your supports get run right over, kind of inevitable at that point.
Been there, been there.
You know what, those cars in the future, they are real safe. And because they're real safe, it's really bad if you get hit by one.
Sky looking so strong on the Zenyatta. Not this kind of same strength that we saw in Shanghai Dragons, but really coming alive here on Team China. You know, really impressive stuff from Sky.
No doubt about it, man. Again, it's really cool stuff. But you see right below us here, it's going to be Spain versus Sweden coming at you next. We're going to finish the day strong.
The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup. And by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.